What's up, everybody? DC here, alongside my good buddy Will. What's up, Will?
What's up, DC?
This is Harambe's Bauble, a Magic the Gathering mini podcast. Something we've kind of been cooking up for a little bit. We were going to do another podcast way long ago about something else, and so we're keeping the Harambe theme. And we both love
It's only right.
yeah, we both love Magic a lot. Um, So we decided we wanted to do a little mini Magic podcast. So why don't you get us started, Will, and just tell us a little bit about your Magic background, how long you've been playing, and all that stuff.
Sure. So I've been playing since the fall of 2020. Pretty much only casual commander here and there. Done some draft tournaments with you and friends, but mostly casual commander. Say, in terms of like color schemes, definitely a green player at heart. Naya is my favorite color scheme. I love me some combat. I love me just getting big boys on the field and running people over. And I mean, lately I've been got two decks that I'm trying to refine right now. I've got a VV Orniteer and the Tifa Lockhart. And VV's kind of my branching into Izzet, which I've avoided like the plague to date. But when I saw VV, it was like, you know what? That looks like it could be kind of fun. So we're learning slowly but surely the whole world of red and blue. But Tifa is definitely kind of my bread and butter. I love me some Tifa so far. It's been great. But
Yeah,
yeah, man. What about you?
Tifa seems to be your most hated commander by certain players in our pod right now. But Tifa's
I don't know
strong.
why. I mean,
Yeah,
dude, I just think I've wanted for a long time to have a landfall deck, but like I feel like landfall typically, especially when you're in like more casual pods that are approaching kind of competitive, once you get a lot of removal, landfall just really has a hard time keeping up with people. But
yeah,
Tifa is just explosive, and it's like I love that Tifa has kind of breathed life into what was just like really boring green staples like Cultivate and Kodama's Reach. Like, there's not many decks where you're going to be scared to
yeah.
see someone play an Evolving Wilds or just a land fetch, and so it's kind of fun to just catch people off guard in that way. And I mean, when you're dealing 1,000 damage to somebody's face, it's kind of it's goofy, it's cartoony, but it's fun. I don't know.
She's a nuke, man. She's a nuke. As for myself, though, I started playing Magic my freshman year of college, so 2008. I started playing with another guy in our pod, Mike. It's when I started playing. He played for a long time before me. He got me into it. We started playing with a group of friends. I started during Shards when Shards of Alara came out. Is when I started really getting into it. So that was back during the Alara block, which was Planeswalkers were just a thing, and Laura just became a thing in Lorwyn. So yeah, I've been playing for a long time. I've taken a mini break here and there. The most I've ever taken off is 2 years. I regretted it because I sold all my cards when I did it. I didn't think I was going to play because I was trying to move away and people weren't playing anymore. And then I got up here and found players. And uh, I had so many cool cards that I regret getting rid of that are worth thousands now. Um, but it is what it is. It's part of it. Um, yeah, my favorite format to play is actually draft, but it's hard to get that going consistently. So I settle for Commander. I do love Commander a lot. That's started playing Commander about 2011, I'd say 2012, something like that. I got my Brea Precon in 2012, and yeah, I've been building on her ever since.
Oh, Brea.
The dreaded Brea.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what though, Brea was definitely my trial by fire, and I had to learn very quickly. So I'm glad that that was my sort of master, and I was the apprentice to that. So
Your introduction, yeah. You've said that multiple
yeah,
times. The trial by fire, I love that.
for
Bray is one of
sure.
those things like out of the box. It wasn't a very good commander, and like people were like, "Oh, Atrax is so much better." But now, as she's gotten older, like there's so many good combos and stuff with her, and there's so many ways you can just win with her on her own. that I feel like Atraxa can't do, like all for multiple abilities, you know. And I've just built it over time, and it's just gotten so powerful. Like I've only ordered just a handful of cards for her just to make her insane, and she's now a bracket 4. Started out as a bracket 1, now a bracket 4. So
Crazy.
yeah,
You know, Tifa's bracket 1, if that means anything to you. I'll just put that out there. I'll have to tell the pod next time.
she is
Just
bracket
playing with
1.
bracket 1, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing, no game changers.
no game changers,
But
no mass land denial. If anything, the
right.
opposite of that.
Bray is tough though because I feel like you said, the flexibility. It's not like a lot of commanders where okay, I've got some targeted removal. I can address the problem. If you try to do that with Brea, then it's typically like, all right, well, I'll just pay 2, I'll sack 2 artifacts. Now your guy that you really care about is dead.
Yeah,
It's just like, all right.
yeah.
So it like forces you to have to like play some more 4D chess on like, okay, how can I know I can't touch that thing, but how can I try to do something at least to try and build up my board state?
Yeah, she's got options almost always, as Mike found out as he piloted her last time we all played. Well, not last time we all played, but a couple weeks ago when we played, and he played with Brea and won with her because she's just got options. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, but that's enough about my fun deck. I think I don't really play Brea a lot because she's bracket 4, and there's a lot of bracket 1s in our pod. What I've been playing mostly lately is Ishin in my Angels deck, which I like to call the Power of God in anime because it's Miku, Giada, the reprint, the Secret Lair drop. And then what else have I been playing? Well, I don't even remember. Oh yeah, Titus. Found out his name is Titus.
Yeah,
Been playing Titus, which is probably the strongest precon I have ever seen.
definitely agree. Yeah, that deck is really gnarly, just out of the box. So many good, just, I mean, utility cards just to help you build up a state, but then also just like the essentials for any kind of counter deck. A
Right.
lot of those are just already in there, and that's nuts. And you got that Costco $60 deal.
I know.
That's insane.
Clutch.
$60 for that deck is insane.
$60 for the deck, plus you got 2 regular packs of Final Fantasy, and you got 4 promos, and you got a promo, a 2-pack promo of a collector booster. So
I like to think, like, you know how there was that meeting with the Costco CEO with the board where they were wanting to raise the price on the hot dogs, and he's like, kill you or whatever.
yeah,
I like to think that he probably is like a Magic fan secretly too, and he's like, no, these are gonna be $60. I'm gonna kill you.
he probably is. And
Because explanation, man, like it's $60 for that much value is crazy.
yeah, it really is. I mean, they retailed for by themselves for what, 75? Were retail at big box stores, and then most
Yeah,
places were charging over 100 for them for the longest time. Like all
yeah,
the smaller comic stores and card shops, they were all charging like over 100, like 125 is like the common price I saw for them individually. Especially Cloud, everyone's charging a bunch for Cloud, and I think people really underestimated Titus and how good. I found out yesterday that Titus has an infinite combo out of the box with Walking Ballista, that one white creature card that prevents damage from uh, creatures with counters on them, 1 per turn or 1 per interaction or whatever, and then Hardened Scales, the 3-card infinite combo out of the box. I mean, it's
pretty nuts. Yeah,
magical Christmas land if you draw it, but because there's no tutoring.
but still, just to have that in a precon,
hmm
that's pretty cool. And it's cool that like I don't know. I feel like when I first started to learn about infinite combos, it kind of felt like it was almost like you're kind of finding loopholes in the rules, and it was kind of almost like this, like, oh, you're playing infinite combos. Like there's like a negative connotation. So it's cool to see like that they actually gave us a deck where it was like, no, it's fine. Go ahead,
Yeah,
you can do it.
yeah. After piloting that deck a few times now, not only like is it strong, but it's just a lot of fun. Like you said, there's just like so much good interaction, and when you're behind, it feels like you can build up your board state so quickly to where you're a threat again, even if there's a board wipe. because like every creature you're gonna play is gonna interact well with Tidus, and you're already ramping because
Yeah.
you're in green. So it's like I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like it's just fun. And when I saw the deck, I was like, I like this better than Cloud, just from a fun standpoint. And I think I play Ishin already, so I didn't want to do another Tron esque equipment deck. And yeah, I don't know. I just love it. And I've been looking for like ways I can improve it, and there's really not many, which is crazy to say. But like the synergy already is just so good. I don't even want to mess with it.
Right. And you haven't even dabbled in poison.
I know.
Like it's just counters and like imagine if you just like dove off the deep end with toxic and poison, then it'd just be like
Be
it'd be
insane.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to though. I'm having fun with it the way it is. So
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I don't
yeah.
blame. I feel like once you go down that path of playing toxic and poison, I feel like the perspective of the rest of the table starts to shift. I'm like, okay, maybe we need to hone in on this guy a little bit more.
I'm be honest, I feel like I get hyper targeted enough in our pod, so I don't think I need any more any more fuel to the
I
fire.
mean, I think if anything, though, that's just a testament to people are more nervous about just knowing what you've done in the past with other decks, where it's just like, okay, I know if Dustin's alive, there's some crazy that could possibly happen, even if they don't really understand the deck that you have
Yeah,
fully.
you guys found
So
out the hard way a couple times last night. We played a little bit, and we played what, 4 games? Did we fit 4 games in, or was it just three?
I think it was three.
Three. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the game before we got Jokelup. How do you say that? Jokelups.
Something like that.
Jokelupst with a red card that destroys all lands and artifacts and creatures. So
Crazy.
yeah, and I didn't. I was playing Ishin, and I didn't draw any lands for how many turns? Like 10 turns.
It was like 10 at least.
And
Yeah. I've
and then I
never seen that.
and then I kept drawing after I got killed, and it was like 6 more turns before I drew a land. So that sucked. But then the game after that, I played Ishin again, and people kind of felt bad, I think, and left me alone a little bit. And Ishin
Yeah.
just popped off, dealing crazy damage 3 times a turn because I got 3 combats with Ishin's triggers. If people don't know what Ishin is, he's a samurai that's Mardu colors, 3 mana. Uh, Whenever a creature you attack makes an ability trigger, it triggers an additional time. So there's so many insane interactions with that because that triggers Exalted multiple times. That triggers the stuff for like when you deal or whenever you attack, take an additional turn, additional combat after this turn with what's his name, the one samurai, I can't think of his name, but you get what I mean. There's just so many cool like ways you can trigger multiple things in one combat, and I did that on that one turn, and I just was mollywopping people and gaining like insane
Yeah.
life too. And it
Once you had that thing, yeah, dude, once you started taking multiple combats, it was like we needed removal ASAP and we just didn't have it. And when you're in that position, I mean, you could hit all three of us every
right,
one of your turns and you were hitting like for 15 plus damage every time.
right.
It's like, it's insane.
People, because I had double strike too, with lizard blades attached.
Yeah.
But people would try to target it Ishin, it wasn't even Ishin, it was Goro Goro with all the stuff attached to him, and they couldn't because he had hexproof because of Champion's Helm. So yeah, train coming through right now, probably hear it. But yeah, so enough about random games we played for now. The idea of this podcast is, we are going to talk about our random games, but we also want to talk about, big news that's happened, our impression of spoilers coming out, our impression of sets that are also out, already. Things we've learned, because one thing we've talked about a lot, Will and I, is every time we play this game, it feels like we learn something new about the game every time we play it, which is just insane if you think about it. I mean, I've been playing since 2009 and I'm still learning new things. So
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how it's like in some ways the game feels like it's very simple, but then there's just so much fine detail. Like the structure, like the overall framework is like very simple and straightforward, but there's so much fine detail with all of the keywords and how they interact and like the different layers of interaction and what takes priority over another layer. And it's just, yeah, it's insane, man. I totally agree. Every time we play, there's always some new interaction where it's one of us goes, wait, is that right? Or
Yeah,
do we need to, that doesn't seem right. And then we look into it and it's like, oh, that was not what I expected at all.
exactly. Yeah, things that don't
Crazy.
seem right. It's like, well, actually they are. So, um, yeah, I mean, we I've said it multiple times, and I think you agree to this too. It's my Magic's my favorite game of all time, and it's not really even close. Um, even though I've taken breaks from it in the past, I always gravitate back towards it because there's nothing like it, nothing else like it. I've played other card games, and it's just nothing's like Magic. So
Yeah. I mean, there's literally, I can't think of any game where you get to customize your experience with the game to the level that you get to, and your experience can be so different from everyone else. Like when we're playing with a group of four, it's not like it's like, oh, we've got two of the same decks going against each other, or even like the same archetypes. Like a lot of times
mm-hmm.
we're all just doing our own thing, and it's so different from one another. And I love that. I love being able to see people's personality come out and what kind of cards they gravitate towards, or even like the artworks that people will get, and they'll find like just random artworks of cards that maybe you've seen before, but you're like, oh, that was cool. When did that come out? And like, yeah, man, it's just the customizability and just the depth. Like we've talked before about how it feels like cognitively it's like chess, where it's like you're always just trying to think a couple turns ahead of your opponent. But I feel like it's way more fun than chess could
Yeah,
ever be. And I love chess, but like I
same.
feel like this is just so much better. And the fact that you can roll up with 3 4 decks that all kind of exhibit pieces of your personality, and they're all going to be different than what everyone else is bringing to the table, but we're all playing the same game. It just, yeah, dude,
But we're not
it's
playing
hard
the
to top
same
that.
game. That's the crazy
True.
part about
Yeah.
it. It's like we're all playing the same game, but we're not. It's the best way I've described Magic to people that have never played Magic is it's 4D chess with a luck element because you're drawing cards. So you never get the same experience twice. Something's always different. There's always a different card draw. Like roguelike games are my favorite kind of games because every time I play them, there is a new experience. And Magic's no different. Every time I play it, new experience. And there's just something about that.
Yeah, 100%.
So
Totally agree. And I love,
no, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, man. Go ahead.
no, you're good. I was just gonna end with I love that, like especially with Commander, how you have like a deck of 100 cards, and maybe in a typical game you'll only see like 30, 20 to 30. So it's like the number of possible combinations, and like, and if you really love getting into deck building, like the depth that you can go and like trying to refine a deck and like make sure that every slot matters. I don't know. It's enough to just like entertainment hours wise keep you occupied for so long. And yeah, dude, love it.
Hank's over here saying hi.
Oh, hi, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's why I love drafting so much is because no draft experience is ever the same. You know, the randomness of what cards you're going to open and that sort of thing. But you know, you talked about personalities coming out. I think each show that we do, I want to exhibit some of our different personalities via the shows that we do, the podcasts we do, and I want to ask random questions about Magic that help people understand like what kind of Magic player you are. So the first question I came up with is, what Planeswalker do you identify with the most?
I've been trying to think about this in the back of my mind ever since you mentioned that. And that's a tough one for me because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really like playing a lot of Planeswalker cards, so I'm not really deep in the lore. Like, I know there's some key figures that are repeated and have like a lot of different variants, but I've never really dove into the Planeswalker. I guess if I had to choose, I'd probably say a Johnny, just because I like the idea of building up a board state and swinging at you, coming for your throat. That's what I want to do every day, all
Okay.
day.
Yeah, Johnny making
Um,
tokens and buffing them, and yeah, okay, nice. For me,
what you?
it's Jace Balerion. He's always been my favorite Planeswalker. I'm a known blue player. I love playing decks with blue on them. I love countering. I love tons of interaction. It just keeps everything fresh, and yeah, I like the
No,
mental games.
I vividly remember sitting at your kitchen table in your old house when you were teaching me how to play. And this was like back when Brea had like, it felt like 30 counter spells in there. I don't know, it might not have been 30. But it was just like anytime that I felt like, okay, I finally like I'm getting it right. I drew, I played my land, I'm gonna do this. Oh, here could be a good card. Yeah, I'm gonna counter that. Okay. And then I'm just pants are down, wide open. You're swinging at me next turn. All right, I'll draw. I untapped everything correctly. Okay, I'll play my land. All right, I'll do this. Now I'm gonna counter that too. So I think there's a part of me that's just never fully healed. I'm probably gonna need therapy in a few years, but it's all right.
Brea doesn't have many counters in her now. She's mostly focused on getting her infinite pieces off or winning in other ways. I worry. Brea worries less about what other players are doing and more about how can I get my stuff to pop off now. Which is honestly a
Yeah.
little more fun. I know certain people we play with don't love it, but it is what it is. Uh, yeah,
I mean, I'm with you. I kind of like that approach of just like, because sometimes I feel like if you're trying to play too controlly, like when I had my elemental tribal deck, like elementals are so inconsistent a lot of the times where I felt like I had to play more control style. But then the games just go on for forever sometimes. Not always, but a lot of times they just get elongated. Whereas like if you're just hitting the gas the whole time, it's like, all right, you can either match pace with me, stop me, or I will win.
yeah,
It's not going to go on for 2 hours. Like I will win if you can't stop me. And there is something fun to that. Like
yeah.
just I don't know.
Instead of 4 board wipes later.
Yeah. 4 board wipes and then a jackal hops or whatever, and then you're just hating your life for the next 3 days.
Yeah, I found out the hard way last night that land destruction is easily my least favorite element of the game.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's definitely up there for me too. It's a big salt factor.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely is. So we talked a bit about, some Final Fantasy stuff with, Tifa and also Titus and, Cloud. We have a couple friends in our pod that have Cloud decks. Dan, his Cloud deck popped off last night. He really upgraded that thing and it's nasty now. But what are your overall
Yeah.
impressions of the Final Fantasy set? I know you primarily, you really only play Commander. I play some Standard on Arena, so I have a better pulse on like how that's doing there in Standard. But just in general, what are your thoughts on the set? How's it performing so far?
I mean, I think there's a lot of, and I'm someone where I more so just do research on a set and buy singles more so than buy packs and boxes. And I feel like there are a lot of single cards that are just nuts. I mean, even like a jumbo cactar, which I think is kind of like almost like the new Blightsteel Colossus in a lot of ways, but it's like one that everybody can afford.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of cards in there, and I think even in the upcoming set, the Edge of Eternities, it just feels like every set now they're kind of pushing the boundary of like how much crazy can we pack into a card for the least amount of mana. And I don't know, I like it to an extent because it's like, all right, your decks can become a little more refined, they can move a bit more efficiently, your bell curve can be like a little bit more uniform but have crazy stuff on the lower end of the bell curve, not just the higher end. But it makes a lot of older cards kind of like obsolete in a lot of ways. Like there's no reason to play a Colossal Dreadmaw anymore when you can pay 1 more mana for a Jumbo Cactar.
yeah,
And it's changing in a lot of ways, but I don't know. I like it. I think there's a lot of really cool. It was really nostalgic too, just seeing a lot of the artwork, seeing a lot of the characters that I hadn't thought about in a decade plus. I'm not a hardcore Final Fantasy fan, but there was like a chapter in my life where I played 10 and loved me some Kingdom Hearts, so I got to kind of know a little bit more of those characters just through Kingdom Hearts to some degree.
it's
So
so
there's
weird.
like a
It's so weird you mentioned.
nostalgia.
So weird you mention that because you know this, but the only Final Fantasy games I've ever played are 10. And if you consider Kingdom Hearts part of that, I played Kingdom Hearts, and I played just recently. I played Final Fantasy 1 a little bit, and that's the only Final Fantasy I've ever played. But I do think there is a nostalgic factor to it, just seeing characters you recognize like Cloud and Sephiroth and Tifa and Vivi and um, yeah, so many recognizable characters and faces. And I really like what's his name, the YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, drew a huge blank. He does all the like lore videos about Final Fantasy and like deep cut stuff. His channel is named after Ristic Studies. Ristic Studies. I love the Ristic Studies YouTube channel, and he did a great piece on Final Fantasy being brought into Magic that really resonated with me because he also had never played Final Fantasy really, and he played Final Fantasy 6 in preparation for this video and like for the set, and before it he didn't want Final Fantasy and Magic, and now he's like, actually this is a pretty perfect marriage. And I just wonder how many people actually feel that way and how many people are going back and playing the games that they never played because of Magic. And I think it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned too, right, that it seems like a lot of the games are on sale now. So maybe that's part of the whole marketing push is like, hey, our name's back in the conversation. Let's get people back in the franchise.
Yeah,
And it's definitely made me want to revisit for sure.
it's working.
Yeah.
It's definitely working. But I mean, so many good cards from the set, and you talked about, you touched on a little bit. The power creep is unreal in Magic lately in general. I feel like there's so many cards that when we see the previews for them, we're like, wow, that's insane. And yeah, there's a little bit of that always where it's like one or two cards are like, that's a bomb, but it is quickly changing the landscape of Magic in general, especially for Commander, where it's just you can put the single card in and it may not feel like it's changing your deck much, but if you do that, a couple of those cards every set, I mean, think about how much stronger everyone's decks are getting over the over a year with all the new sets coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And then also, like on the flip side, it's like it kind of forces out a lot of the old cards,
yeah,
which I don't know how I feel necessarily about that because like there's some old cards where it's kind of cool, but now it's like how many thousands of cards in the history of Magic are just unplayable because of all of the new cards. Like you're not going to go back and play like some 6 mana card from '94 because it's probably going to suck
yeah.
compared to a 6 mana card now.
Well, I mean, there's even like crazy uncommons in this set, like Overkill, which gets around indestructible. Uh,
Yeah.
like Quistis Trepe, which is basically Snapcaster Mage Light, except it the only difference is it doesn't have flash. But on the flip side of that, you can play instant or sorcery cards from your opponent's graveyard when it enters. So it's like
Yeah, that's crazy.
stuff, and that's an uncommon. It's just stuff like that. I never remember uncommons and commons being as good as they are right now. It used to be that all the mythics and like some rares were like, okay, this card's broken, right? This is going to change everything. But the fact that you have uncommons that are doing that is just, I don't know. I'm not, I love having new good cards to play with, but it's like you said, something about those old cards just being forgotten forever really sucks. As someone who's a veteran of the game too, it's kind of hard to see that happen.
Yeah. Well, it makes me wonder if maybe there'll be like a new format that'll like eventually emerge where it'll just focus like on solely those cards that are kind of unplayable in most formats now, just for that nostalgia factor. I could totally see that.
Well, they have vintage, right? But there's so many vintages, basically just all the Power 9 cards. So, um, yeah, it's just insanely. It's the most expensive format to play in Magic. But yeah, I don't know how they would do that, where it's like you play. I don't know. It's like a different version of Pauper, but for just bad cards. Like it can't exceed this certain amount of dollar value.
Yeah.
Be an interesting set or an interesting format. One other thing I briefly wanted to touch on too is there was the Secret Lair drop for Sonic, and for Final Fantasy there was a Secret Lair drop, and everything sold out immediately. Bots scooped it all up crazy fast before you could even get in line. Seems like WotC it seems like they fixed it with the set release. People were in line for a long time, but it seems like everyone who wanted Sonic got Sonic. And I hope that every secret layer drop going forward is like that. Because I imagine they're going to do one for Spider-Man whenever the Spider-Man set comes out. And I personally am insanely excited for that because Spider-Man's my thing. And I really am probably going to want those secret layer drops. So,
Yeah, it is cool to see that they're actually like acknowledging, okay, we need to step in and at least do some kind of measure to get around these people who are just kind of the rest of us over and not even just giving us chances just so they can upsell these things for ridiculous prices.
yeah. Yeah, hopefully it's a new trend going forward because I absolutely hate scalpers. I think they should all burn in the fires of Mount Doom. Uh, it makes my fun hobbies not fun. So yeah, I just want to touch on that a bit. But we've also had spoilers come out for Edge of Eternities, which is the next set coming out before even Spider-Man, and there's a lot of really cool cards, new concepts. You've got instead of crewing, you now have stationing, which is basically giving your vehicles permanent crew tokens that, when they get to a certain amount of station, they become creatures. It's not temporary. So that's a neat concept. And the rule change coming with it, which is big for Commander, where vehicles can now be commanders.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That'll be. It kind of feels like the station. It's almost like it brought back like that level counter aspect a little bit that you used to see like a decade or so ago, but in like a different flavor. And yeah, like that Dawn Sire Sunstar Dreadnought or whatever it is that whenever it attacks, it like deals 100 damage to a creature. I
Yeah.
feel like there's gonna be some crazy combos that are gonna be
Imagine that
coming.
with Ishin.
Um, yeah, insane. I'll scoop right now. I'm just gonna scoop before we even play. But yeah, that and like the lander tokens that you can tap sack to bring out a land, that's gonna be cool. And it's in colors other than green too. So
I
it'll
like that.
be I do too. I like that I mean, I love me some green, don't get me wrong, but especially now that I'm playing VV and I'm having to adjust to like blue and red, it's like, oh wow, this really sucks when you can't just bring out lands all the time and you have to actually work for it a little bit more.
Yeah. I think that it seems like they're really pushing landfall to be a key staple in standard because you've got all the landfall stuff in Final Fantasy and you have those lander tokens like you're talking about. There's a lot of interesting potential combos there. I know a card we both really love on the preview is the Lobster Citizen. What's the name of him? I can't remember.
Yes. Oh man. Ragost or something like that?
Ragast. We're like we should have a crustacean only game where we all just make Ragus commander decks
Yeah.
and play nothing but
Ragost Death Gastronaut. Yeah, that card is going to be awesome.
yeah. We love that one a lot.
Artifacts you control are foods in addition to their other types. Pay one, tap, sack a food, deals 3 damage to each opponent, and then if you gained life, you untap him. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be. I think my dabbling with the Chatterfang deck that I built earlier in the year, like, really made me fall in love with tokens as well. And so I'm 100% going to be making this deck and just seeing what kinds of crazy shenanigans can come out of it.
Remind me what colors he's in. Is it Boros? Red,
He's
white?
red and white.
Okay.
Yeah.
So unfortunately,
Which is
can't put that in Food and Friends. That really sucks for me because that would be fun.
yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I don't really know a lot of red. I know white has a lot of good food synergy, but I haven't really looked much into red. What kind of food synergies they have there?
Not a ton, but I'd say what you're gonna do there is do a lot of treasure tokens with red because red produces a lot of treasures and do treasures and foods.
That's fair.
Maybe
Yeah.
have a lot of synergy there. There's a lot of potential there. I think we should work on making like the best possible version of that deck and like try to break it. I think that sounds so much fun.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's kind of weird though that it's a lobster, but it's red and white. I was
Yeah.
looking last night because I was like, all right, if I could do that, like, what are some old lobster cards that maybe I could throw in too? But they're all blue,
Yeah.
which makes sense. Like a blue lobster, and then you think about it, and you're like, oh, red, white lobster. It's kind of, but
Yeah,
I don't
you would
know.
think it'd
That
be
color
red blue,
scheme.
but yeah.
Eh,
But
we'll
like you
see.
said, if since it's the food synergy, it really needed white for that. If it's or green, but obviously they wanted to go away from green with that. So yeah, I could see, I could envision a lot of treasure and food token nonsense with that deck in those colors. So that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And just a 2 mana commander. I've been falling in love with just playing with lower costing commanders lately and just I don't know. After having played with a 5 mana commander for so long, it's so nice now to just be like, all right, I'll just tap 2, bring it out in turn 2, and start the shenanigans early.
Yeah, you saw that with Giada too, or Giada, how you pronounce her name, or Miku, if you will,
Yeah.
where it's just like you get so much cool early interaction with those cheap commanders. Really get your stuff going quick.
100%.
Yeah, so I think the last thing we'll talk about, and I think I want to end every show like this, is a rule we learned, either while playing Magic or just in general. And I found a really interesting one that I didn't know really much about from Reddit. Someone made a post about it's this dragon that when it enters, let me pull it, let's see if I can pull up the post. But when the dragon enters, basically you exile a creature an opponent controls as it enters. But I did not realize that exiling uses the stack like it does, and there's like this really weird rules subtext when it comes to that, and in that card in particular, where that card actually isn't the one exiling the card, so it doesn't use the stack. So you could just steal someone's commander, because what happens when it enters is you exile the card, but you can play it while it's in exile. So it doesn't actually hit the stack to where opponent can just send that to the command zone instead. Instead, they just get to play it as it enters. So you have to counter the spell because it's
Yeah,
part of
because
the
it's the
still ability.
whole ability
Yeah,
of you're countering it, you're exiling it, and you're casting it all in one go before there's any like state-based action check
right.
to see for someone to be like, no, I want to put it back in the command zone. Yeah, that's wild. That is a wild card that's going to probably cause a lot of friendships to break up.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime people mess with your commanders, can I get a fucking prison in the moon?
Transcendent Dragon.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So
When it enters,
read the
if you
card.
cast it,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a 4/3 flash flying. When this creature enters, if you cast it, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. Then you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So since there's no gap between, like, it's not like you do one thing and then there's a break in time, and at some later point you can do the casting. It's all in one
You
ability.
have to cast
Yeah,
it
you
right
get
then and
to,
there. So yeah,
yeah, and
right.
there's no time, I guess, for the game to check and see like, oh, this commander is no longer here, would you like to move it back to your command zone?
Crazy.
Crazy. So crazy.
It's all it's and again, that's why I love the game. There's so many outs, there's so many workarounds. There's always an answer. It may not be, you may
Yeah.
not have it in your hand, but there's always an answer. There's always a way around something. There's no invulnerabilities. Even if you have everything on your board that's indestructible and hexproof, well, here comes farewell. Like
Yeah.
there's always a way
And it's
around it.
like, and I love that aspect of Magic, but I feel like that's also one of the things that is so hard for new people learning the game because it's so hard to explain. Like, okay, so this means that this happens, but unless this happens, then, X, Y, and Z happens, or like, oh yeah, this can't be destroyed unless you have something that changes its base stats and then you have to sacrifice it, or, like there's always some, and it's so hard for like new people to be like, what? Like, can't we just, no, I just want to play Uno or something. Like,
Actually, you can't do that because X. Like, oh man,
yeah,
there's so much of that.
it's
And
amazing. I love that level of detail, but yeah, for new people especially, it can be kind of tricky when you're trying to explain it. To just be like, just hold on, let me give you the list of 20 exceptions to this one rule.
yep, there's always a but, always an unless. And yeah, definitely new players hard to deal with that for them. But it could be like for you and I, where that entices certain players to be like, oh wow, there's always a way out. Sign me up.
Yeah, 100%. And that's so true because what it does, I think, is it makes it so that there's not one strategy that is like dominant, ultimately dominant over another strategy. Like there's always a weakness that you can find and exploit. Like, okay, all of your creatures are indestructible. Well, I'll make you sacrifice them,
Yeah.
or I'll exile them, or like there's always a way that you can, like
Or
David versus Goliath, kind of get around it.
or I'll make their toughness minus 99 till end of turn.
Dude, Overkill is just such a beautiful card. I love it.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
Such a solid removal.
Yeah, it is, and it's what 3 mana and an
Yeah, and
instant.
it's like 20 cents or
Yeah,
like 40 cents. Like it's dirt cheap.
it feels like one of those
So
cards where later on down the line, like 2 years from now, people will be like, "Wow, that card is insanely good," and it's just going to shoot up in price to like $20.
I could see it.
Yeah,
Yeah. All it's going to take is like the right black commander where people start really diving into black and they're looking for removal. And then they're like, oh, wow, I completely slept on that.
or like for
100%.
a certain, they do soft bands in modern all the time, or not soft bands, soft cycles in modern all the time, where they'll ban cards, and that could be the alternate to a card that people use a lot. And wow, everybody's playing this card now, at least in their sideboard at the very least. And that's modern. I've said this before and I've said it again. I truly believe modern drives prices the most for Magic cards. It's the most popular format. People love modern. Um, yeah, it's if I see my card shoot up in price on Mana Box, I always go check to see what happened in Modern, and it usually correlates. So, all right, this first podcast will be a little bit longer than what we're shooting for, because we're going to shoot for 20-30 minutes typically for this thing, for Harambe's Bauble. But we're doing a little introductions and stuff like that, but I think we'll stop it there. We talked about a lot. We didn't talk about some of the things we want to get to, but we can save it for next week. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about from the games we play between now and then as well. So yeah, you got anything else
100%.
you want to say, Will?
Nothing on my end, buddy.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess we'll see you. I guess we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.